Hi everyone, from me Sadia, your DEI committee chair for the district. Today's video is part of the series which will tie into what is the true meaning of diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's really important to set the context before we dive into the topics of diversity, equity, and inclusion. In saying that, we will be breaking apart the three terms. I will speak on equity today as all three of the terms tie into each other and they also very much intersect. So let's talk about equity in the social justice and social change context. Because language has the potential to enact and maintain social justice and social change, equity is about fairness. It's about making sure people get access to the same opportunities. It reflects processes and practices that both acknowledge that we live in a world where everyone has not been afforded the same resources and treatment, while also working to remedy this fact. Equity is often conflated with the term equality, which means sameness and assumes incorrectly that we all have had equal access, treatment, and outcomes. In fact, true equity implies that an individual may need to experience or receive something different that's not equal in order to maintain fairness and access. So for an example, a person with a wheelchair may need a differential access to an elevator relative to someone who does not take the elevator. Equity is giving everyone what they need to be successful. Equality is treating everyone the same. Equality aims to promote fairness, but it can only work if everyone starts from the same place and needs the same help. So let's look at an example. In the first image, under equality, you can see everyone is provided with the same support. Assuming everyone is going to benefit from the same support and they're being treated equal. Everyone can watch the game, but can they? No, there is one person that's too short to watch the game. So what's the problem? Everyone is given the same block, so same treatment. But clearly that's not working for everyone. So in the next image under equity, the person that couldn't watch the game earlier is given the support that they needed, producing equity to make it possible for them to have equal access to the game. But here is taking it a step further. In the third image under justice, why not remove the fence and think of the fence as the systemic barrier that was the cause of the inequity to start with? So now all three of them can see the game, they can watch the game, enjoy it without any support or accommodations because the cause of the inequity and the systemic barrier has been removed. We want to be, and the ultimate goal is to be at that point. Equity and equality are not equal. There's a common misconception that equity and equality mean the same thing and that they can be used interchangeably. But the truth is they do not and cannot. Sometimes our differences and or history can create barriers to participation. So we must first ensure equity before we can talk about equality. Equality is about sameness. It promotes fairness and justice by giving everyone the same thing. But that can only work if everyone starts from the same place. In the example that I shared earlier, equality would only work if everyone was the same height. But we're not all the same height. So to watch the game, let's remove the barrier, the systemic barrier that I referred to earlier. Equity takes into consideration the natural differences between individuals, such as height, weight, gender, physical disabilities, and so on. However, the notion of equality treats all individuals in the same manner. So here's a really good way to remember. Equality equals sameness, giving everyone the same thing. But that only works if everyone starts from the same place. Equity equals fairness, access to the same opportunities. We must first ensure equity before we can have equality. We can't bring one-size-fits-all boxes to lift everyone up. That's equality. And equality does not always mean fair or equitable. So look around you. What differences do you see? And how can you include these differences into everyday decisions that you make? I want you to think about how some individuals in our society were given access to certain resources and opportunities, while a whole other group of individuals were not given that access. So I want you to think about the low-income families, persons of color, and persons with disabilities, which means that when equality steps into to make the playing field level, it's only level for some of us because equal is equitable. It is equity that is desirable, not sameness. With that, let's all try to remember equality has become synonymous with leveling the playing field. So let's make equity synonymous with more for those who need it. In Rotary, we are creating an organization that is more open and inclusive and fair to all, that builds goodwill and benefits our communities. We want people with differing perspectives and ideas who will help Rotary take action to create lasting change in communities around the world. With equity, Rotary strives for the fair treatment, opportunity, and advancement of all Rotary participants. So in the end, don't forget to follow up on the social media handles that we have. I'm hoping all of you are following that. It is at the DEI Rotary 5360. Feel free to reach out to us, leave a comment, tell us what is it that you would like to hear about or any of the topics. So this is one of the big term of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they all really intersect with each other.